Can you tell me, please, what is your job title?
My job title is the Refugee Migrant Liaison Officer at the Royal Hobart Hospital.
Oh, thank you. Can you give example? Who do you help?
I help anyone who's from a culturally diverse background, so that can be international students who are studying at the university or at the Polytechnic. It's also people who've arrived in Hobart from a refugee background, and also migrants, so people who may have come here to live in Tasmania, but not as a refugee, as a migrant.
Oh.
So anyone with a culturally diverse background who speaks another language besides English at home.
Oh, okay. So what else do you do in your position?
What else do I do?
Yes.
One of the favourite things that I do, which is with the staff at the Adult Migrant English program at the Polytechnic, I take tours of people who've only just arrived in Hobart, who've come from a refugee background. I take them for tours of the hospital. I really enjoy that. So I show them the emergency department. I show them where the refugee clinic is. I show them where they, if they're young women, where they might come to have a baby. And yeah, so I do that as well.
Okay. So what kind of training do you offer to the staff of the hospital?
I really enjoy that. It's another part of my job I really enjoy.
Yeah.
I run the cultural competency training, we call it. Yeah. And basically that means I help them to think about how difficult it must be for people to leave their country, say as a refugee or a migrant, and to come to Australia and to talk to doctors. So I teach people how they can work well with people who don't speak English or are from another culture. So I teach them how to use interpreters, as well.
So do you only help like people who are patient, or do you help other people as well?
Yes. No, I do. In the hospital, I help patients, but I also help the families of patients. So if the family of a patient is concerned about something or needs help, I will help them as well. I also help staff. So if staff might ring me up and say, look, I'm working with a person from a different culture and I'm not sure how best to help them, so staff ring me up. Also, people say who support people from other countries, say for example the Migrant Resource Centre or Centre Care or the Polytechnic, the Adult Migrant English program, but it is focused on, has to be a connection with a patient in the hospital in some way.
Why is it important to use interpreter?
It's very important to use interpreters because when you learn another language, sometimes I know, because I speak another language, I can say certain things in the other language. I can have a conversation with someone. But if I go to see a doctor who starts talking about parts of my body that I'm not sure of in that language and using medical words that I can't, sometimes it's hard to understand medical words in a language that's not your first language. Or also if the doctor asks questions and thinks, oh, this person isn't understanding me really well, then the doctor might also want to get an interpreter, even though the patient says, no, I'm okay, I can speak English, I'm okay. But the doctor thinks, no, I just want to make sure they understand really, really well. Especially imagine if you're giving consent for an operation.
Yes.
And you need to understand exactly what they're explaining to you.
So how do people contact you?
They can contact me by phoning me on 6222 8126, and that's my office phone just here. I also have a work mobile, and that's 0449 02 042. And people can also email me. And and the staff, the teachers, have my email address. But email, of course, if it's urgent, it's best to phone me. And also, you can come up and see me in my office, but it's usually best to phone to see if I'm here.
So what is the best thing about your job?
The best thing about my job is meeting people like yourselves. No, because I just want to make sure that that you all have a really happy and healthy life, new life here in Australia. So it's wonderful to be able to, I learn so much from the people who arrive here from different countries, because your cultures are beautiful and there's so much that we can learn from you. But I suppose more importantly it is about making sure that you are really healthy and happy here in Australia.
So thank you for your information.
No
Nice
worries.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.